you know. I hope that there's more of a list. Sorry, I was reading chat there. I like this design of the Nico. I currently don't have a Nikomata skin, so this is pretty nice. That being said, I like the Mecha Consort, and then the deep Sandworm Deep Coiler. I have to imagine this is Doom inspired, not Dune, Dune inspired, right? Dune inspired. It looks like it at least. Regardless, it's a big worm thingy. Looks like a big worm thingy at least. The mecha though, I think looked really nice. It's interesting to say the least, but I think it looks nice. The idea of a robot consort is kind of tripping me out a little bit there, but it looks definitely really cool. New cards, new secret cards. So the Froggo and the Wild Shroom. If I had to make a guess, the Froggo one is... Oh, I can't tell. Is this the Froggo from... The question I guess I have right now, right? Is this the Froggo from Wave 3 or the Witch Froggo, right? Because if it's the Witch Froggo, my assumption would be Witch dies, Froggo gets through. That would be how you get this. Or and Wave 19, I think it's the red one, so it doesn't look like it would be Wave 19. My assumption is, if it's the Witch Froggo, the Witch dies, the Froggo makes it to King. That's how you get this card. The Spaghetti Monster one... I'm not sure. I think if a Wild Shroom gets so many kills or something of the sort might be it. But that's a tough one. I don't know exactly what the Spaghetti Monster one will be. Though it looks funny, so I like it. Wild Shroom Leak on 1. It could be. My assumption is that it's more or less along the lines of it has a long, like maybe it heals for an extended period of time and gets so many kills, something of the sort. But we'll see. We shall see. So this is kind of a neat little section. I will kind of go over the improvements and fixes this time because I think there's some stuff in here that will be nice. So, okay, well, chat's saying it looks like the Wave 3 hopper the most. Then it might be just that one hopper gets through, like when you leak a single hopper, which like very rarely happens. So that'd be a difficult one if that is what it is. But we'll kind of see what happens with it. We'll see it in the shop eventually, and when we see it in the shop, or someone just data mines it and figures it out anyway, then we'll find out. Back onto the improvements though. Increased dual penalty for low-rated parties. Oh, it is Hopper, so it is Wave 3. It just looks like the Froggo. Anyway. Increased dual penalty for low-rated parties. So, I'm curious on what low-rated is classified as. Is this increased dual penalty for 1100s or 1600s? Because that kind of changes things, and I wish there was a little bit more ambiguity with that one, some transparency, because this, I think, could be both really bad and really good. I think in lower elos, it's dynamic. Penny is thinking. I mean, I would say it's, yeah, dynamic would kind of make sense, but like a rough estimate would kind of be nice. For the sole reason that while I think there is definitely a bonus to having a party at a lower elo, it's nice for people who are lower elo to know when that negative sets in. But dynamic is kind of, I guess, a good option. I don't think it's 2K, because 2K is like top 5% of the game at this point. Though the decreased duo penalty for high-rated parties, I would imagine me and Shadow duoing together would not get as big of a negation anymore, right? Because we're both high-rated. I'd assume high-rated's anything above 2K, maybe? I don't know. I like that they're changing it up. I just wish there was more vision to it, right? This is one that when I read on my phone earlier, I was extremely happy about. So, when the wave spawns, enemies will now more dynamically and accurately attack the target nearest to them rather than locking onto a target ahead of time. This means your ranged units are less likely to be unexpectedly targeted when your melee units are run ahead of them. This change is most noticeable on ranged waves and against ranged mercenaries when you build ranged units in the front. So, no longer will your Zeus be behind everything and still get targeted by a creep. No longer will Wave 8 shoot past your tanks because they locked on before they even attacked. In my opinion, Zirian, this means you don't have to relearn how to split. The splits are just going to work better. Your distance are going to just work better. I don't think this has anything, like, you're not going to have to redo much, if anything. There might be some where you might used to have to cheat up a little bit to get it to do even split, where it's now just going to even split on the edge of the circle, like we used to talk, like I say you're supposed to be able to do, which doesn't always work. Yeah, you might need to relearn something to min-max better, but I think the general consensus here is that it's just going to work better in general. It should make splitting simpler, yes. It should make splitting more simple, because you should be able to always have consistent setups, whereas it traditionally would be whatever locked on first would lock on, which sucked. I do think, though, like getting it where we occasionally would do a Pilgrim on wave 5, for instance, to take boss aggro. I think that's going to be more difficult now. Or going to require a little bit more finesse, because now you're not going to always guarantee to have the boss just lock on, right? It's going to have to be closest to the Pilgrim and not your Berserker or whatever have you, Yozora. So that's going to be something we got to keep in mind and keep an eye on. There are going to be some fixes that we have to make for our builds, our splits, our etc. But I think the 1v1 mode will be a great time period to fiddle with this, play around, see how the targeting is different, see if anything feels different. We can obviously do sandbox and other things, and we'll probably try to do a little bit of some updates if people are finding that there's some changes to specific pathing and targeting that people would consistently do. Other than that, fixing some stuff with Guardian Angel with Serpent and Red Eyes. Though I'm not ever using Guardian Angel on these 4 units to begin with, so it might be that a unit with Guardian Angel dies and then causes weirdness targeting because this one's being revived and these guys are still up. Maybe that's what it's referring to. If you ever use Guardian Angel on any of these, don't. None of these are great Guardian Angel candidates. 4v4 is being made into a kind of ranked mode now. You have rating badge icons now. It doesn't give you end of season unlocks, but it does show it, at least when you're queuing the game. I do like that it's showing you where the hidden income is, right? At least you can see who's getting the +5, so you can see who's the noob. But I think this is going to make Classic even more tryhard. which kind of is sad to me, because Classic already has become a really, really like rank light mode to a lot of people, and it shouldn't be. But that's, you know, what it is. We just gotta correct these noobs and teach them how to income send in Classic again, guys. Make Classic great again. MCGA. The huge thing here to me is essence gain per the guilds. Right now you get 3%, it's going to go to 20%. So if you have, like I do, where you've got 30,000 essence guild contributions, you're going to get like plus 400 now rather than the plus 60 I have. Sadly, no guild member cap improvements, but you know, it's giving people a reason to join guilds, right? ETB or Et tu Brute is full. That being said, I've talked about it in the past. If anybody wants to make a feeder, which is like just an official way to have another guild that just says ETB2 on it or something, I will sponsor that if you reach out to me first. Otherwise, yeah, it can just be at 2 TWO Brute. So, you know, whatever you guys want to do. We're not super active in the main guild anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. But, you know, people should probably join guilds now. This is like a guaranteed it's worth joining a guild, because you're going to get a ton more essence. A ton more essence from being in guilds now. And it's retroactive, right? Because it's just how much percentage, or how much you've donated to the guilds in total. So keep that in mind. The bots are now stronger, more aggressive, and a little smarter. Sag. So the bots are now going to be actually a lot harder, in my opinion, now that they are a little bit less scuffable, cheesable, etc. Lisk finally changed the 21 issue. Lisk finally changed the 21 issue, where the bots would just randomly stop sending because their value is high enough, right? But I'm a little worried that the outscale or wait for their builds to get shitty is not going to work anymore. That being said, with cartel and other things being an option guaranteed every time, there might be another way of beating them now. And we talked about that a little bit earlier, but there might be some cheeses there. We'll have to fiddle around with it. I will be playing against Diamond AI a good bit to try to find the most optimal strategy going forward, because I know a lot of people ask me that because it's an achievement and people want to beat the achievements. So while I understand making them better, it's going to be difficult. The other thing, the campaign hard bots are changing, so I don't think any of my guides will be the same. So we're going to have to go through and make new guides for all the campaigns, which is fine. Those didn't take too long, but that's something to keep in mind. You can just leak every wave with the diamond bots and still get 95% gold value. True. True. So long as your bot's doing enough, it's doable. I think Fiesta might be a little bit better against the bots now. It should be okay. The hardest part is getting a bot that doesn't just stink. The hardest part is getting a bot that just doesn't stink. Some of the bots builds while, you know, yours wasn't, you're behind, your bot would be behind solely because his build stunk. Whereas sometimes the enemy bots would just be the better of the AI, which happens. These minor improvements and stuff, but yeah, there's not a whole lot. Basically just weekly challenges are now different. Some things for Asian characters. The fonts are better. Being kicked from a guild, you now get your essence back. Ally disconnects. It shows a tip about forgiveness. Just top 250 player for ranked. Or for classic.